Hey everybody, thanks for tuning in. In today's tutorial, I'll be showing you 10 of the most useful Google Sheets tips for beginners. You can expect that these tips will help you save a lot of time and speed up your productivity. So let's jump straight into it. Tip number 1 is how to lock the top row of your sheet or freeze it. This comes in handy when you have a sheet with lots of rows and scrolling through the data gets a little bit of a hassle when you want to go back and check the column header. So in Excel, this is called freeze panes and it looks just like this. So what you have to do in Google Sheets is to go to the top left corner where you see the small box, and all you have to do is to drag the bottom bar down to the bottom of row 1 where your column headers are. Now you can scroll through your entire sheet without losing sight of your headers. You can do the same with columns, and all you have to do is drag the right border of this box to the right border of the next column. Tip number 2 is how to resize the column width. If you have a column that is too small to see the data completely, all you have to do is hover over that column or simply select it by hitting the top cell. Now place your cursor on the right border, make sure that this right arrow shows up, and double click on it to automatically resize the column width. Now if you have rows that have a different height, you can do the same by simply clicking on the bottom border of that row. Now here's a cool thing. If you have a lot of rows and columns that need to be fixed, you don't have to be doing that one by one. All you have to do is to double click the top left cell so that the entire sheet will be selected, and then double click on the right border and bottom border of any cell. Once you do that, all the rows and columns will be adjusted. Tip number 3 is how to add a column quickly. Simply select a cell, right-click on it, and select Insert one row above and/or one column left. Now, if you want to have multiple rows and columns added, highlight 2 or more columns and rows, right-click on it, and choose between Insert to the left or Insert to the right, or Insert above or below. Tip number 4 is how to highlight cells quickly or highlight entire columns and rows. All you have to do is to select the top cell and hit Shift plus Command and the down arrow. For rows, select any of the leftmost cells and hit Shift, Command, and the right arrow. And if you want to select the entire dataset from here, hit Shift, Command, and the down arrow again. On to tip number 5, which is how to view the sum or count from a set of numbers. So for example, I have this column showing the expense or amount deducted from an account. What I'm going to do is highlight the entire column by doing tip number 4, so hit Shift, Command, and the down arrow. Now the entire column is selected, and if you look at the bottom right corner of your screen, you'll see the number count showing how many data entries you have in that column. And if you hit this arrow, this menu will open up and you'll be able to see the sum of all those data. In addition to that, you'll also be able to see the average, minimum, and maximum amounts. Keep in mind that the data in the cells must be set as numbers, and in order to ensure that, you can again highlight the entire column, hit Format, and choose the kind of data you're trying to project. So in this case, it's financial. Alright, we're halfway there with tip number 6, which is how to add today's date. In order to do this, all you have to do is use this formula. Select a cell and type equals today, open parenthesis, close parenthesis, and hit enter. Just like that, the current day will automatically be added. Tip number 7 is how to easily capitalize names properly. Now let's say you have a dataset of names that aren't typed properly or have a mix of uppercase and lowercase letters. What you can do to fix this is use this formula on the column next to it. So select the cell beside the first name, hit the equal sign, type the word proper, open parenthesis, select the cell of the first name, close parenthesis, and hit enter. After that, allow Google to do an autofill for the rest of the data by hitting enter again. Now all the names are properly typed and you don't have to fix it one by one. Tip number 8 is how to split text cells. So let's go back to the names and let's say we want to separate the first and last names into other columns. Instead of doing it one by one, you can use a formula to do it for you. So select the cell beside the first name and type the equal sign, split, select the cell of the first name, comma, quotation mark, space, another quotation mark, and then the close parenthesis. Now hit enter. And again, allow Google to autofill the rest. Now tip number 9 is how to join cells using the ampersand symbol. Going back to the names, let's say we wanted to rejoin the first and last names together. So what we're going to do is select the empty cell beside it and use a formula. So go ahead and hit equal, select the first name, add an ampersand, quotation mark, space, quotation mark, another ampersand, and then select the last name. Hit enter and then autofill. Alright, and on to the last tip, we have how to copy style. So let's say we copy pasted some text from another website and the font style is completely different from what we have. All you have to do is select the original text you'd like to change the new text to, click the paintbrush icon, then select the new text, and then it will automatically be changed. You can also do this the other way around by selecting the new text, clicking the paintbrush icon, and then click the original text. That's it, very easy and very simple. And there you have it everyone, 10 tips to speed up your work when using Google Sheets. I hope you enjoyed this tutorial, and if you found this super helpful, don't forget to like, subscribe, and comment for any questions that you have. That's it for today, and stay tuned for more.